When we heard that they were going to split the story, we assumed that part one would be all the kids and part two, all the grown-ups. But we're seeing a lot of footage still using the kid actors. So to what percentage are they involved in this story? Is it a lot of flashback, or do you have original scenes with the kids also?
Well, I wanted to rescue the dialogue between the two timelines that is so important in the book. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the first movie was only about the losers as kids, mm-hmm. And that was done, you know, in order to, you know, have a story with character development without interferences and time jumps and stuff. And people, I think, audiences really responded to that. But I always wanted to, you know, to get back to that dialogue between timelines, and so we created this flashbacks. And it was a challenge, you know, how to instrument those time jumps into the story. So when you see the movie, you really can appreciate how, you know, those flashbacks are not just character moments or just like simple time jumps, but they're very integrated in the main plot, and they really move the story forward.
And I think one thing that's super important, of course, is the chemistry of the group and the losers. And I'm just curious, you know, we got some of it in the footage that you guys showed at Scare Diego, but the adults that you put together, did they try to mimic the chemistry that was created in the first movie, or did they really want to spin it to have it be original and unique to them as a group?
Well, it's a balance, you know. There's on one hand, I encourage them to draw from the performances of the original cast, to make that jump in empathy. You know, we're talking about the same characters, but these are different actors. They are now in the 40s. So it was important for me that these characters still held mannerisms and behavior from their childhood. And they all, of course, agreed, but they, of course, you know, like also draw from their, you know, their imagination and from, you know, speculating how these characters would evolve through the years. Mm. So they brought, you know, I never dictated what percentage should they keep from the original performances. They created the character combining those two elements.
Did you start to notice how the cast came together in a different way versus how your kids did? Like as you were working with them, like.
Well, they knew, you know, a bunch of them knew each other.
Oh, that's helpful.
So, you know, James and Jessica had worked together. Bill had worked with both of them together. So the three of them had already done a movie. And of course, as you know, as an adult, you fall in love with that romantic idea of going back to childhood where those friendships were just the most important relationships in your life. Sure. And in a way, you know, we shot in Toronto, so everybody, you know, was pretty much away from their families, and you create those bonds.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, the process was very organic, like how this group came together. It's comparable to what happened with the kids.
Right.
With the difference that when you're like 12, 13, it's like the bond is like colorful and immediate, and like just everybody's bouncing against each other.
Right.
This was a slightly more adult bond,
gotcha.
But it still happened.
Gotcha.
And there was no bicycle camp.
and no burping competitions that we know of.
That you know.
But there was spitting, of course. They're still losers.
There's a lot of focus on how the Losers Club was affected by their encounter with Pennywise. I'm curious if you can discuss how Pennywise was affected by his encounter with them.
Pennywise don't care.
He doesn't care?
He doesn't care. He's just like thirsty for revenge, and he comes back smarter and more manipulative and more aggressive. Okay. And always a step ahead.
But I do think he cares in the sense that he really wants to get these guys because they played one on him. So these are not regular victims. These are victims that are coming back for him and that have almost defeated him already. So I think there's that he knows that there's more technique to it than just go for them.
Your approach in terms of getting into a sequel where the audience kind of knows Pennywise now and knows what to expect almost, and keeping that character terrifying?
Well, I won't reveal exactly what makes him more scary, but I can tell you that it's
sauce.
special sauce. But I can tell you it's a scarier movie in general. It's a movie that is a little more told from the perspective of adults, and it it depicts different, deeper levels of fear, because we're dealing with grown-up characters. But it still has fun. Humor plays a very important role in the story, and and it's very emotional too.
I think one thing that we started talking the day that we were told we were doing it was that basically the main tool that Pennywise had to operate in was unpredictability. Mm-hmm. And Andy has done a masterful job at keeping him unpredictable. So even when you say that we know Pennywise, do we know Pennywise?
Right.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård did like incredible work. He was like, unpredictability was a concept from the beginning, but he kept it fresh all the time, and he even surprised me at some points. He was never doing the same thing. Take after take, he was like pulling something new. And so he really stuck to the concept, and he did it wonderfully.